everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Lindsay and this is Life with Lindsay. Today we have a WIP Chat for you, but if you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Lindsay. I do mainly diamond painting, some other crafting related content from time to time. I would love if you would like, subscribe, hit the bell, hop aboard the Hot Mess Express. Let's love you friends. If you've been here before, hi, welcome. Thanks for coming back. So, I just want to say I know that my schedule was flip-flopped. I don't think anybody's, like, losing any sleep over it, but thank you guys. Yesterday, like, in real time, was a bit chaotic, and I just didn't have enough time to record and then do the editing and processing and getting it up online. We just had a lot going on. So, I was like, hopefully it won't be a big deal, and I'll just switch them. So, hopefully, next week, your WIP Chat will go back to what it was. If you're new here, as I mentioned, hi. If you don't know what a WIP Chat is, or you're new to my WIP Chats, a WIP Chat is when you work on your current WIP, WIP, which is work in progress. I am currently working on My Hanukkah Wish. It is a Dreamer Designs kit. If you would like to see the unboxing for this, I will leave that up in the eye. And you can work on whatever it is that you want to be working on. It can be another craft project. It can be a household project. It could be while you're driving, while you're working, while you're pretending to work, while you're doing chores, while you're cooking. Whatever it is that you want to be doing, there is no right way or wrong way to WIP Chat. I am looking for one single color that I cannot seem to find, which means it's directly in front of me. I'm sure of it. But I hope that you are all well. I am excited to be hanging out with you guys. It is right here. There we go. One thing I will say with, like, Dreamer Designs, if you've never done it, sometimes the symbol on the containers are different than, like, the color. I don't mean, like, oh, you're going to have an orange drill with a purple symbol. But I was looking for this right here, which I thought was going to be very light. I mean, it is a light color. It's a peach color, but it's not as light as I expected it to be. But anyway, I hope that you are all well. Speaking of whipping and chatting, I think that I mentioned in previous videos, I don't know if I did or not, but I will be participating in the Christmas premieres again this year. If you are unfamiliar with that, maybe you just haven't heard of it, or maybe you're newer to the community. It is a multi-day, around-the-clock, WIP and Chat-esque thing that many creators do. I'm doing a really piss-poor job of explaining this, so apologies in advance here. So, what it is Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day. We've had to extend it into the third day because we've had so many people participating and so many more people wanting to participate. But each creator gets a time slot. My time slot will be 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Christmas Eve to 7 a.m. And what will happen is we will all be sharing the playlists. If you are watching it through the playlist, it'll autoplay into the next person's video. And what they are live premieres. If you are unfamiliar with what that is a pre-recorded video. Like I said, each one of us gets an hour time slot. And we are live in the chat. So while the video is pre-recorded, your favorite creators will be there in the chat. It's a really great way if you are spending the holidays alone or in less than ideal circumstances and you want to feel less alone. It's really great if you are somebody who is like, let me get a leg up on all this cooking that has to happen, all this prepping that has to happen, and I don't need my family, you know, up my butt while I'm making the ham, the turkey, the roast, whatever it is, or, you know, however you want to use it. It's also a really wonderful way to meet new or newer to you creators in the community. And I've been doing this now for a couple years, so I'm super honored. Crashly is who organizes it, and she does an amazing job, and it's really awesome. And I know some of you have found me through that, which thank you if you have. But I always like doing it. I usually drag my husband into it, so if you guys are interested in that, I will obviously post on my social media as well. And I will set the video so if you guys are subscribed to the channel and you hit that bell, you'll get notified that I have a live premiere scheduled, so you can set the reminder for it. And if I have any of my amazing mods, they can drop the links for the playlist, which is really great, so that you can just keep it playing in the background or go back to it whenever it's convenient. I am super excited to be doing it again, so thank you in advance for anyone who decides to come hang out. In the meantime, my husband would like to know if there are any top 10 lists that you would like to go over. Like top 10 foods, top 10 movies, top 10 ice cream flavors, whatever it is. And we will pick a couple and go over them and kind of like compare and contrast between him and I. If you guys have never seen my husband or his he has an entire playlist on my channel, and if you guys are interested in that, I will link that up in the eye. I'm really excited. I'm really excited, you guys. We always have a good time. Yeah, so it'll be fun. Come hang out. If you guys hear the clicking, I'm trying to multitask here. So I'm trying to make like a note of a timestamp so that I don't have to go back and fully re-listen to my video, which if you guys have never made content, long form content, like YouTube videos, short form content, if you're unfamiliar, would be things like Reels and TikToks. If you've never made long form content, and you say, I'm going to link this in the eye, we need to know when we said that so that we can link it in the eye, whatever it may be. So one of the fun things about doing an hour-long WIP Chat is that unless I make those notes, I am typically playing back the entire hour to find where I said I will link whatever I'm linking. Sometimes I'm lucky enough to remember that I did like one or two in the beginning and that was it, so I don't have to listen all the way through. But when I do an hour-long WIP Chat, it's an hour to record, usually an hour of playback and making the notes. If there's any kind of things I need to edit into that, I add that on top of that. And then the processing and uploading it from my phone onto YouTube can take that long as well. So sometimes it takes quite a few hours to get just a simple 1 hour video off my phone. So it's a lot of fun. Speaking of YouTube, totally unrelated, I don't know if you guys have ever noticed. So my channel has been eligible for monetization for quite some time. And this is just a personal preference. Everybody does things differently. But I know, like, my regular taxes are already complicated for other reasons. For me, knowing that I wouldn't be bringing that much in via YouTube, that would probably cost me more at the end of the year to do the taxes for it. And because my taxes are complicated, I don't do my own taxes. I pay somebody. So I started the process and then I decided I'm not going to do it. I got a letter today in the mail from 3 years ago, like when I started the process, and then I decided to not go through it. So I have like a small check that I can get from YouTube, which was very nice. I was quite a surprise. My husband was like, that sounds legit. I'm like, oh, it is legit. What are the odds that they were like, oh, hey, 3 years ago, you monetized your channel for this many days. And then, because I had to verify it with like my ID and all sorts of things. And I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to go through the process. It didn't seem worth it. You know, I've had people, I'll get into my actual week here in a minute, but I've had people message me, and it's, you ever have to be the bearer of bad news and you know it's going to be bad news, but they have no idea, and you're just like, well, shit, I'm about to ruin someone's day. I've had people message me over the years, and I think it's funny that I get messaged for some of these things, because I think, relatively speaking, compared to a lot of other diamond painters, I have a pretty average sized channel, right? Like I'm not one of these mega creators who has tens of thousands of followers, 50,000 followers. And I've worked really hard to build the platform that I have and to make it a safe space for people to feel welcome to be exactly who they are. And that's something I'm super, super proud of. And, when I first started, I was definitely more hung up on the number because I think we all are. Like, why are people not subscribing to my channel? Or why are they subscribing to this channel instead? Or whatever it may be. So, but I've had people like message me and they basically want to know how they can like quit their job and do YouTube videos. And I'm like, well, first of all, that's never going to happen with diamond painting. These people who have like these huge platforms that make a ton of money, they're making money off of sponsorships. You know, if you get a diamond painting company that wants to send you product, that's pretty much what your payment is. Sure, you can be an affiliate for a company, and maybe there are some out there that do pay creators for their content, for use of their content. But in general, like, I'm not going to get a Nike sponsorship being a diamond painter. You know what I mean? Which is totally fine because that's not what I'm trying to do. But I had to explain to this one person because she, like, really thought that all of the diamond painters were out here, like, rolling in cash. And I it's hard to tell people that that's not really the case. This is more supplemental for many people who do monetize their channel, or people use it so that they can purchase more products to review or showcase or whatever. But that being said, if you're contemplating in 2025 starting a YouTube channel, do it. The hardest thing is that first step, that first video, and deciding to do it and actually posting it is by far the hardest thing that you will do with your channel. And it's totally worth it in the end. I've connected with so many incredible human beings through my channel, and like, I'm super honored that I have people that approach me and let me know that I am a safe space for them. They feel welcome here. They feel like we're friends. And that's what I want. I don't want it to be like, oh, let me go to this person because they are really in-depth detailed for their unboxings or whatever it may be. And there's always a need for those kinds of channels too. And I feel like, for me, it's evident by the numbers of people who watch certain kind of videos that you guys are mostly here because you want to hear about me and my life and my family, which is absolutely like mind-blowing to me. And I'm so honored that you guys choose to tune in like week after week. So, a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart to all you guys, whether you just randomly found me today, you're a newer subscriber, you've been here since the beginning, or anything in between. Like, it really does not go unnoted. So I just want to say thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. Another little housekeeping tip here. I have done a terrible job of promoting, but Alice in the Winter Wonderland is happening again. I will make an official announcement kickoff video. I can't remember if I've even mentioned this on my channel recently or not. If you don't know what that is, I host an Alice in Wonderland diamond painting event. This will be my 5th annual, which is crazy. Is that right? 5th? Wow. And it is any Alice or Alice themed diamond painting kit. Super easy to participate. I will have a Google Doc. You fill out the Google Doc, you post. I make videos. You can watch the videos if you choose to. You don't have to watch the videos. But I use my platform to showcase you guys. And it's been something I've done from the very beginning. And it's something I feel super passionate about and will continue to do. So, if you don't have your Alice kit, make sure you get one. I am really excited. I'm not the internet police, so I can't tell you how to spend your own money. Obviously, I would prefer if you use legally licensed artwork. But again, you're an adult and you choose how you spend your own money. So if you have any questions about that, please leave them down below. Or you can shoot me a message on Instagram or send me an email. All of that information is always listed down below. Anyway, now that we've gotten that all the way, how are you guys? I hope that you are all well. So I've mentioned before, like, December is just chaos. And we don't celebrate Christmas, so that does help with one aspect of December. But my daughter is skating in 3 shows in December. So there's tons of practice. There's tons of costumes and dress rehearsal and private lessons and group lessons and going back and forth and doing this, that, and the other. And I am ready to be just wake up and it not be December anymore. If I could clone myself so there could be two of me to run these errands, I absolutely would. But I also love being able to see my daughter in her element. So obviously my weeks are filled with lots and lots of ice skating. We have, as I mentioned, so it's 2 nutcrackers and 1 winter showcase. Technically, one is called Holiday Magic, and the group numbers from the Learn to Skate Aspire kids are all from the Nutcracker, and then they have other winter or holiday performances, and it gives kids of all levels an opportunity, so that's super fun. And then the other one is just straight up Nutcracker, and then the third one is a winter showcase where it is people doing solo programs. I'm sure there are a couple duos, but solo programs to mainly Christmas music. My daughter and one of the girls she skates with, they are doing like their regular program music. But I did ask if next year we could do some Hanukkah music, and she said yes. And then my daughter goes, "Can I dress like a dreidel?" And I'm like, "No, kid, you can't dress like a dreidel for this." Like, I mean, I shouldn't say that definitively, but I'm pretty sure her coach isn't going to want her to dress like a dreidel. And then we are gearing up for the beginning of competition season. The plan is for her to compete in February. I won't know more information about that till we get closer. Her coach doesn't want me to register quite yet because if her level needs to change between now and then, and it would be going up, not going down. It's a lot easier to do that before I register than after I register. So I'm all for let's make things easier, but you know, sometimes life doesn't let you do that. Also, total tangent. The other day I was in a group chat, and one of my friends mentioned something about cucumber melon. And if you are of a certain age, you remember the chokehold that had on us in like the 90s. And I did not know that Bath and Body Works re-released cucumber melon. So I'm really excited. I got mine in the mail today with a couple new candles. I went to pick up my package for we have like parcel lockers. They're super annoying. Anybody who has like a regular mailbox at their house, like I'm jealous of that because I haven't had a real mailbox in a very long time. And anytime a package gets delivered, unless it's oversized, it goes into a parcel locker, and then we have to go get the key from our mailbox, and then open the locker. Anyway, so I opened up the parcel locker, and it smelled like a tiny hooker in there because there was like 3 different candle scents and body spray scents, and so that was fun. But anyway, on Sunday we had a pretty chill day. We were coming to the end of my kiddos' Thanksgiving break, which is crazy because we are about to go on winter break. Thanksgiving was super late this year, so I think it's like throwing me off completely that we just basically jumped from one to the other. But on Sundays, oftentimes my daughter likes to get McDonald's breakfast, which depends on my husband's work schedule, if it works. But then sometimes Lazy Bones likes to sleep in, and then she gets mad that we can't go to McDonald's because McDonald's doesn't have breakfast all the time. So she was like, "Can we get brunch?" And I was like, "You know what? Yeah, let's go do it." So we went to a restaurant that we used to go to after T-ball, which was really nice. And we kept saying to her, "Do you want to do the buffet?" "No, I don't want to. I don't want to." Well, she ordered something that she ended up not really liking, but instead of saying, "Mommy, Daddy, I don't really like this," she just kind of whined and complained, and turns out she regretted not doing the buffet. But we didn't find that out until we were back in the car because, she had to argue with us that, "No, I did like my breakfast. It was very good." I'm like, "Then why didn't you eat it?" Because I've always told her, like, if you order something and you truly don't like it, like, I'm not going to force you to eat it. I was really blessed growing up. My dad always said the same thing to me. He's like, if you ever get something and you truly just don't like it, we'll get you something else. And I was like, okay. So it never like crossed my mind that that's not how everybody else's family worked. And I think part of it was also that I still have, at least one picky eater for a sibling. And it was just not worth trying to force a child that you know isn't going to eat something to eat something. And I want her to be able to express that. But if she doesn't tell us that, how am I supposed to know? But we did that. We had a really chill day. It was really gross and gloomy. So my husband was like, you want to go get pho? And I was like, sure. So we got pho for dinner. And then she got these chicken dumplings, which she housed. And then my husband got some spicy chicken something. I can't remember what it is now. Maybe chicken karage. And she was like, Daddy, can I try that? And she was devouring that too. And I was like, wow, good for you, kiddo. We had a couple other things. But I like being able to go to a restaurant where we can get multiple items. And then even if it's my item, I don't mind sharing. Or his item, he doesn't mind sharing. And then she gets more to eat. Gets to try more variety. Because how many of us have like gone to a Chinese restaurant, gone, this is the thing I like. And then as an adult, that's still the thing you like. And order because you haven't really tried anything else. Or you tried one other thing when you were younger and you're like, I don't like that. So we just try to expose her to as much as possible. And it, people always say to us, she's little, but she eats. She loves food. She loves flavor and seasoning. Like it is pretty amazing the things this kid loves versus what like the average peer of hers would be enjoying. But then again, she's like every other kid her age too, where like, let me get chicken fingers and mac and cheese and all that. But if you've ever thought about it, if you go to a restaurant, almost every restaurant that has a kids menu, it includes chicken fingers and french fries. Maybe you'll get pizza or a cheese quesadilla, maybe a cheeseburger. But you're basically giving them the same couple options, and then you expect once they hit a certain age that they're going to have a different palate and they're going to want to eat off the adult menu. And it's like, that's why you have so many chicken finger adults, because they eat chicken fingers as their option, and then once they hit the adult menu, they were like, well, I don't know what this is, or I don't want to try that, or I don't like that. And then they proceed to just continue to eat chicken fingers, which there's no shade in that. If you are a chicken finger adult, go you. But I don't know why, like, as a society, we expect that we only offer kids these little options, and then when they are, like, a little bit older, we're expecting them to be eating, like, totally different palates. It's very weird to me. And so we just continue to offer her whatever we can. I feel like, do I have room to pull this over? No. I'm going to just scoot my tray over and shift this way. I'm still in frame though, right? So the next day was my daughter's last day of school break. So we had to run some errands that I would typically do while she was in school. We did a post office run. I think we went to the market. Did we go to Walmart? We did a couple errands. And then, have I mentioned to you guys this watch fiasco? If I have, I'm going to be repeating myself, but if I haven't, I'm going to tell you guys. So, my daughter has a Verizon Kids smartwatch, a Gizmo. I think they're absolutely fantastic. It can only communicate with anyone that I have pre-programmed and approved to be in there. And, like, my mother-in-law, for example, she's in there so my daughter can call her. However, she cannot text my daughter unless she installs the My Gizmo app or whatever it's called. And we go through the process with the QR code and all these things to verify. So really the only people she messages are my husband and myself, which is fine. She's 7. Who is she need to text? But she has the ability to call my parents, his mother, my sister, and I think one other person outside of him and I. And they have texting available on it. And then there's also, she loves that there's some games. She was playing a math game the other day. and I hear her asking her Google this math sentence going, hey Google, what's this plus this plus this minus this? And I was like, Briar, if you set it to like the lower level, you can answer those questions. Like, she doesn't know what 36 plus 17 minus 12 times 2 equal. Like, she does not know how to do that kind of math yet. She's 7, and newly 7. And so, I don't get notifications that her bill is due. And it's only like $14.99 a month. It's not expensive, but my husband and I, neither one of us have a Verizon account. We each separately have cell phones with different carriers. I've had the same phone number since I was 16. I'm 42. Do the math. My husband at one point had said to my dad, hey, would you like me to put her on my family plan? And my dad was like, no, because at that time we had this crazy old grandfathered plan and it would cost him more money to break the contract and have me go over to my husband. But my husband also has this really old plan with T-Mobile that they don't offer anymore, but it's still available if you were grandfathered in. So he gets a great deal on his account. So it wasn't worth us like switching either one of us to the other person's, but this gizmo is only available on Verizon. So super long story short, I never get a bill. And then it'll be however many months of not paying because I can't access the account, which I'll get into in a minute here. And then, I've had to go into the Verizon store to connect to my account. So the problem that I have is that it is a Gizmo Kids watch. It is not a cell phone. So when I contact Verizon, they go, oh, we're going to send the verification code. And I'm like, you can't. There is no verification code. You cannot text it. And they cannot comprehend when I explain this, which is weird because it's their product. And then they tell me, well, we don't have your information listed, as in my phone number or my email. And every time I say the same thing to them. Then how are you texting me and emailing me to tell me that my account is past due? And they always tell me that they don't know, they don't have my information. Meanwhile, they have all of that, and I got a thing in the mail from them today. But so I go and I tried to call the customer service the first time, and it's like a $5 charge to make a payment over the phone. And I'm like, I'm not paying $5 on a $15 bill. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So the last time I went into the Verizon store, and it was still a small fee, but not as much. And I was able to make the payment. And the guy showed me a way to make the payment without accessing my account. However, when I pulled it up, it didn't work. I was like, cool. So fast forward to this time. And I keep trying to log into the My Verizon account so that I can make the payment. Because God forbid they let you make a payment without logging into the account. Because who's out here? Real question. Who's out here, A, paying for random people's bills, or B, accidentally paying for somebody else's bill? Like, nobody's out there paying your bill that's not you or not related to you or friends with you or whatever, So I'm like, I don't understand why it's such a big deal. So I can't get into the My Verizon, and they say to me, you don't have an account, which, like, okay. So then I go and I click create new account. Wouldn't you know? Oh, there's already an existing account with that phone number or that email address. And then I click forgot password. And then it tells me, you guessed it, that I don't have an account. I'm like, why are you making this so hard? Like, I just want to pay for my kids' watch. And it makes me seem like I'm super irresponsible because it's like my bills are always late because I can't access it until I get the notification that I'm past due. Well, now the guy showed me the exact URL, so I'll be able to do that. But I don't get alerts saying your bill is due on this day. Like, I have AT&T, and I get a thing saying your bill is available for viewing, and it's due by this date. I don't get that with her Verizon. So that's super fun and also incredibly annoying. So we took care of that, which she was really excited by. I don't know why, but she was. And she was really proud of herself because she looked with her eyes, not with her hands. Because, you know, cell phone stores are full of very expensive things that look like toys to children. But we did that, and then we picked up my husband and grabbed dinner. Because at that point, like I had hit my limit for the day. You know, sometimes you're just like, I can't do any more adulting, running errands, dealing with humanity, being out in public. Like I can't do it anymore. So the next day was a early morning skate. So for those who don't know, we have now picked up early morning ice time. So we go to the rink before school on Tuesdays now. And then when she's done, we then drive to school. So she does a really great job at the morning ice. She's much more focused. It's much quieter, so she doesn't have to worry about running into anyone while they're working on their programs or working on jumps or spins or anything like that. And she also doesn't have to worry that anyone's going to run into her before anybody asks. Yes, it has happened before. That was a while ago, but she's still hesitant because she had a collision at the rink. But we did that, and then twice a month, I meet Erica from Kevin's Creations for breakfast or coffee. We just get together and hang out. And so we ended up, there is a Mexican restaurant near me that has, in my opinion, some killer breakfast. They have American fare available as well. But, like, why am I going to a Mexican restaurant for just American food? That's my opinion. But they, like, I love, like, their chilaquiles are divine. They cook the eggs perfectly, which I'm tired of places. How do you guys order your eggs? Let me know down below how you order your eggs. I like to order my eggs over medium because I don't like when they are still snotty. But I feel like a lot of places they're always snotty, and I'm like, I want the white to be cooked all the way through, but I still want that yolk to be runny. But we had a great breakfast. We hung out. I was like worried we were gonna get kicked out because we were there for so long, just spending time together, which was nice. My brain needed that little bit of a reset and like hang with somebody whose company I really enjoy, you know. My kid had just gotten done being home for break. Not that I don't love my kid, but when I'm with her for that many days and she has none of the structure in her life, like there's no school, there's no regular day-to-day activities, it becomes a lot. And she becomes totally dysregulated because her world has been disrupted, but she doesn't know that's what that means. And it just, like, I am now kind of sort of dreading summer because I'm like, what am I going to do with her to maintain her in a good schedule between the couple weeks of camp and maybe a few little trips here and there, but nothing like super huge. I just don't know. And, I think that a lot of people don't give school teachers enough credit. Not only are they doing the job, but they're also keeping your kids like on pace and on track for things that you don't realize how important it is for your kid to have that regular routine until they don't have it. So, shout out to our teachers out there. I say, as many in especially my husband's family, there's a lot of teachers in his family, and, you know, anyway, so it's just been, you know, chaos. And then, after work, my husband and I, we had talked about this. There was a cheesesteak place that one of our favorite restaurant owners recommended, like highly recommended. So I was like, you know what, why don't we try? You guys. And this is as somebody who is coming from, like, I grew up outside of Philly. So I like a good cheesesteak. And I have my preferences and I have my favorites. That was one of the worst cheesesteaks I've ever had. No lie. It was so greasy. You ever just eat something that has multiple components and the whole thing tastes like one note? So I had a mushroom cheesesteak, which I ordered it that way, and the girl's like, "Do you mean a cheesesteak with mushrooms?" Yes, that's exactly what I mean. I don't know what else you thought a mushroom cheesesteak was, but that's what I ordered. But the mushroom, the cheese, the meat, it all just tasted the same, and none of it tasted good. And then they were out of everything to drink except for Diet Coke and Coke Zero because the truck hadn't come or something like that. So there was no water. There was like nothing. And I was like, well, that sucks. And it was crazy expensive. So that will be the last time we go there. But it's kind of a bummer because like we absolutely love the restaurant that recommended it. And I trust their culinary expertise, but I guess maybe I shouldn't have. I'm trying to see. Sorry if you guys, I put my hand there for a second. Yeah. I was trying to see how much time I had on my timer there. If you guys are watching that was probably really creepy. But the next day, my husband had a company Christmas party. And it was not like a company Christmas party where you can bring your friends, family, or whatever, which is fine. So my daughter had skating in the evening. And so I had said to her, do you want to go get crabs after skating? My husband likes crab meat, but he does not like the work of crab legs. So when he gets crab, it's like crab cakes. So I hadn't taken her in a while. There's a seafood boil place, actually right by the rink. And so she was so excited. And I said, as long as you behave, we can do that after. And that'll be our dinner. And she's like, okay. And every time I go, I always regret going because I spend the majority of my time cracking the crab legs and getting the crab meat for her. And then she's done eating and she doesn't want to wait anymore. But we also talked about how important it was that you let mommy eat. So we go to the restaurant and we're waiting and the waitress is bopping around. And then the hostess says, all right, I'll take you to your table this way. So I'm paying attention to Briar because she's bopping this way, bopping that way. She's super excited. And there was a huge spill on the floor that nobody noticed and only noticed after I slipped on it and fell right on my knee. I was not happy, obviously. I hurt myself. I was worried I was going to have to go to the urgent care. I ended up just having some swelling and some bruising, so I was okay. But in that moment, and it looked like, because there was a large table that it was like right next to, it looks like it was butter all over the floor. But I don't know how nobody walked past this spot because it was right past the host desk and nobody noticed it unless it had just happened, which is always plausible. But when I fell, they said, are you okay? I said, no. And I made it very clear. I said, do not touch me. There are some moments where I will gladly accept help. And there are other moments where the last thing I want is human touch, especially from a stranger. I think that's pretty common. So I continue to say, do not touch me. Was I rude about it? Probably a little bit. But this one woman puts her hand right on my shoulder. And she's like, ma'am. And I flung her hand off of me. And I said, do not touch me. Now listen, this lady was probably 110 pounds soaking wet. And there's no chance in hell she would have been able to get me off the floor. I am not a small person. But I needed a second to just like leave me alone for a second so that I can catch my breath and try to, recover a little bit here. And I was not about to then sit down and eat dinner here after like I fell. Obviously my ego was also a little bruised. And my daughter stayed really calm in the moment, which was amazing because watching your mother fall and hurt herself and being helpless is probably not something that is super easy to handle. And again, my kid, she's in first grade. She just turned 7. So I was super, super proud of her and I let her know that. So instead, we went to Red Lobster and that way she could still have her crab legs. And I had a birthday coupon that expired like 2 days later. And you guys, my husband's the one who signed me up for the rewards program. And I forgot. I forgot. He put my name down as Lindsay Banana Hammock. So when I logged in, I was like, oh my God, I hope they don't come over and go, thank you, Mrs. Banana Hammock. It ended up being a wonderful night. My kiddo and I had a good time. The next day I was swollen and bruised, and the bruising went away pretty quickly. So it was really just like surface level. I just bumped. But I was hurt, and I felt bad because I was like, I promised this kid that she could have crab legs if she behaved, and she did just that. So she got her crab legs. She was really excited. And it's funny because I think we got a newer waiter at Red Lobster, because you can always add on crab legs like a la carte. So I always order, like if I order their crab legs for me, I just add an extra ½ pound, and then I just crack all that for her. That's how I do it. Obviously people can do other things, but the next day was my husband's birthday. He decided what better way to spend my birthday than to go to the doctor's offices. So we had an eye exam for him. He has not gotten new glasses since before our kiddo was born. That is crazy to think about. She is 7 and he has not had new glasses since before she was born. My husband tends to struggle finding frames that work because he has a larger head. I'm not saying anything that's like mean or like not well documented. So he likes to get wider frames, but the problem is when he has the wider frames, they can't thin out the lenses or they start to warp. And then, and he needs the thinning out of the frames because of the prescription that he has. So we found a pair pretty similar to what he has now. Of course, my daughter was like, well, how come he didn't get something bright and colorful? And I'm like, girl, like that's not what daddy wants. Daddy doesn't want bright and colorful. Now, when I get my next eye exam, that's going to be my goal. I'm at that point now where I know, so I have readers in my bag now, and I'm definitely getting to that point where I know I'm not going to be able to wear my contacts as my main source of like eyewear forever. And I hate wearing glasses. I feel like there's always a glare. I always end up with a headache. My body just cannot adjust to glasses the way they do to contacts. That being said, I've also been wearing contacts since I was like 13 years old. And my glasses, every once in a while, I'll wear them and people will be like, oh my God, I've never seen you in your glasses. And I was like, yeah, and you probably won't again. So I'd like to get a fun pair that I can actually like function in. But my husband, they said, you're definitely at that point where we can talk about bifocals. And he's like, okay. And they were like, you don't have to do it yet. He's like, I don't want to do it yet. So he did not. He just got regular single vision. It was funny because they asked him, do you have single vision glasses? And he just looked at me and I go, yeah. And he goes, I don't know. I go, single vision, babe. Like it's just for near or just for far away. And he's like, oh. But so hopefully those will be ready soonish. And he'll be able to post a picture of himself. I don't know what to wear, but maybe I'll post a picture of him. Again, I don't know what to wear, but And then my husband just turned 47. He has never once in his life not spent his birthday with his mother. Not the whole day, but like he has never not seen her. So we went to lunch with her after the kiddo was in school and after the eye exam. And it was really nice to spend time with them together. And of course, my daughter was mad because you went and saw Lil Gamma without me. She keeps calling her Lil Gamma, which I think is the funniest thing. I think to her, little is like a term of endearment. And I think it's super sweet. But my mother-in-law and my husband, they ordered their lunches and I ordered my lunch. And I ordered an open-faced turkey sandwich. I'm not quite ready to be done with all that Thanksgiving goodness. And it came out and I took one look at it and I was like, absolutely not. Now listen. I am the kind of person, if something visually is turning me off, my mind can't get past it. So that's the main reason, because people always say to me, like, why don't you eat chicken? There's so much gross stuff, in my opinion, in chicken. If I see it, I'm done. It could be the first bite. If I see it, I'm done. I can't get past it. So this comes out, and I'm hopefully you're not eating anything right now, because it literally looked like a plate of vomit. It was chunky and white, and my husband's like, they probably just put like cornstarch in it to thicken it and didn't do it properly. And I was like, either way, that's not going on my plate. That's not going in my stomach. And because it came out that way, I didn't want them to remake it. I was like, no. They were like, we can get you fresh gravy. And I was like, absolutely not. Because what's to say that the new gravy doesn't look exactly the same or worse? And so I ended up just getting a little pizza instead. But we did that. And then after my kiddo had school, she went for her 7-year checkup, which we are still under 40 pounds, but we are getting closer. That is the big thing. She wants to be able to be big enough for a booster, which is funny. One of the other kids is like, how come you're not in a booster? And I was like, oh, great. Here she goes. And she totally defended with like, this is what's best for me and my family. And I'm like, it works. Sometimes you listen. But also, like, by law, my child is not big enough for a booster. It doesn't matter if she's old enough. She's not big enough. So, and we've discussed that even if you hit 40 pounds, you have to consistently be over 40 pounds before mommy will put you in. So she just likes knowing that she's getting closer and closer. And the one nurse there just loves my daughter so much. But it was really interesting because her pediatrician, that was his official retirement party. Like, my husband's like, woohoo, this is how we're spending my birthday. And I'm like, listen, we could have gotten an eye exam on a day that you were off while she was in school. It didn't have to be your birthday. And he's like, I know, but I knew I was off that day. And I'm like, okay, well, you know. So we wanted to see him, but the party still wasn't going to start for like another like 20 minutes. And she was like, I want something that they had food out. And she wanted something. I was like, Briar, you can't eat the food for the party before the party begins. So it was a little rough, and it would have been nice to actually like formally say, you know, thank you and goodbye. He was a godsend for our family. If you guys don't know a little bit like a backstory of my daughter, so Briar was born with an airway disorder called laryngomalacia, which is where the larynx is floppy and it like can flop over the airway like that. So for some kids, they need surgical intervention to make sure that they keep the airway open. And it's like cartilage. It'll harden over time. That's why like baby ears are like super, super squishy, because that cartilage hasn't fully formed yet. So for us, we had gone to a pediatrician when she was born, and they wrote off everything that we dealt with as, oh, you're a first-time parent. What would you know? And I was like, I know I don't have any other children, but I also know that watching my daughter turn blue and not drink at all, or very, very little, is not normal. And she had stridor, which is noisy breathing, and all these things. And I just was like, I said to the doctor, because he said, I know more than you. And I said, well, I know my daughter better than you do. And if you're not going to help me, give me a referral to someone who is. And I got our feeding therapy referral, which was a godsend for us. And then I took my daughter and I left that pediatrician's office and I went right over to where she is now, where when I walked in, the pediatrician who just retired said, wow, sounds like this child has laryngomalacia. And I just burst into tears, because she did, and nobody listened to me, and nobody believed me, because I was a first-time mom. If you guys have any interest in hearing more about Briar's story and like what life was like and all that stuff, I will link that up in the eye. I know it's not really like a feel-good thing. It's medical, but it's not like gory or anything like that. But I know some people are really interested in that. And every year, my husband and I, we fundraise and we advocate and we try to raise awareness for laryngomalacia. So if you ever see You ever wonder why I almost always respond with a blue heart? It's because the airway ribbon is light blue. But that also totally shaped who I am as a mother. And it also taught me that I can't just trust the word of somebody because they're a medical professional. I need to advocate and push and say what I need to say and put my foot down so that I'm listened to. Which I don't think would have happened had my daughter not gone through some health struggles. Not that I wish that upon her. And that's honestly one of the reasons why I never tried for another child afterwards, because I didn't want to do it again. But I digress. And that's also none of anybody's business. But I am always really open about that because I think it's super important for people to learn, because while it may not affect you or your family, like you might hear it in a friend or family member and realize, oh, I remember Lindsay talking about this and the importance of it and blah, 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 and be able to point them in the right direction, you know? So anyway, I feel like I have to sneeze. Hold on. The power of hitting pause while recording. Yeah, so anyway, I don't even know what I was talking about. I was talking about my husband and all of that. And then the next day I took my husband to work, and then I took myself over to, it's kind of like a food hall, but it's not open a lot. It's only open like 2 or 3 days a week. But I was really craving a cookie and a bagel, so I went to the fresh market and I got one of each. And then of course I was like, well, I gotta get one for the rest of my family, so I did. And I don't even remember, was that all I got? That must have been all I got. But I did that. That was nice. And then my kiddo had skating, and we got all of the information for our first Nutcracker, which in real time is actually this week. It's in a couple days, actually. And so we had gotten this meeting, and they just went over a couple little things, like every child will get one free ticket for their adult. Anybody else in your family is required to purchase a ticket. We can pre-sell tickets for a certain amount of time, and then if your child sells 10 tickets, they get an hour of freestyle, which is ice time. And if you sell other multiples of that, you can get more. So I don't know if I've explained to you guys who Dog Mom is, but there's a woman, I'm pretty sure I did, but for those who have no idea what I'm talking about, there's a woman at the rink whose younger daughter went to preschool with my daughter, and the first day of this class, she was just staring at me and goes, I think I know you. And I was like, okay. Now, most people would say, where do you know me from? Or something along those lines. But no, she just stared at me. And I just kept going about my merry little way because I had to get my kid ready for the ice. And then eventually she looks at me and goes, I think our kids went to the same school. And again, just stared at me. And I'm thinking, this is when you say the name of the school. So after like a good, probably like 2 minutes of her just staring at me, I just looked up at her and go, what school would that be? And she said it, and I go, yes. And then it realized when I walked away, I said, oh my God, it's Dog Mom. There was this mom who used to walk her dog in front of the door where the kids would come out, and she would act like she and her dog were the most important thing. She did not care that she was inconveniencing every single child in their family, and just totally, like, I was saying to my husband, I was like, I can't tell if this woman is just like socially unaware or like doesn't care or what. She's just very, I don't care for her. And I cannot stand having to interact with her. And so she's in this meeting and we each get 5 tickets for a pre-sale. And she goes, oh, okay, so these are our 5, right? And they were like, no, these are tickets you sell. If you don't want to sell them, you don't have to sell them, but you do have to bring them back with a note that says how many you sold or didn't sell or how many are in the bag. So she's just not getting this. And this is a meeting that should have taken a few minutes, and she's just going on and on and on. And then she goes, well, how old do you have to be to require a ticket? And the coach, the skating director was like 5. 5 and under can be free. And she goes, oh, okay, because my sister just had a baby. I'm sorry, you want to bring a newborn baby to an ice rink for multiple hours? Like, that is not necessarily the best place for your baby, your niece or nephew to be. And she was like, the coach even said, like, you know, I wouldn't recommend that. And she's like, no, she's going to be here and she's going to bring the baby. And I'm like, okay. And then she could not understand that at dress rehearsal, which in real time is actually tonight, and I'll tell you guys about that next week. But at dress rehearsal, we will then get our chaperone ticket. She goes, we need something to prove that we're a chaperone. And the skating director was like, no, it's just basically saying, here's your free 1 adult ticket that goes with your kid. And she goes, because our kids aren't old enough to drive themselves. And I'm just like, oh my God. I walked out of the room and apparently the conversation kept going for a significant amount of time. And I felt really bad for the other parents that were stuck in that room, because this woman, she is just clueless and relentless. And like, then I find out she is basically trying to get away with not having to pay for certain family members. But, well, they can just come and watch the dress rehearsal. And she also wanted to bring her professional camera, which I didn't know. For all I know, she has her own camera she bought online, you know. And she's trying to claim, like, well, I could get better shots over here. They already have a photographer for this. They don't need her for this. But I really hope that I don't have to interact with her tonight. I have a feeling she's going to be like totally clueless on how this all works. This is the first time her kid has done one of the shows. But she also like doesn't listen to the adults that run this and kind of wants to do things her own way. And then is surprised when people are like, you're in the way. So we'll see how that goes. But she's one of those people that like, not many people on this planet am I like, I cannot tolerate being around them. I can usually fake it pretty good. I mean, my face might not be able to, but I just despise this woman. For many, many reasons. But the next day we had dress rehearsal for the other rink. So we got a little bit of the chaos of changing the costumes and doing all the things. It looks like it's going to be a fun little show. The kids did a great job. I'm really excited to see it all come to fruition. This will be our first time doing the Nutcracker at that rink. My daughter really loves doing these shows. It gives her an opportunity to obviously be on the ice and have eyeballs on her. She is not a shy child. She is one of those kids that loves the attention on herself. And like I said to Brian, like I have a feeling she's going to want to be a theater kid. She wants to be in Disney on Ice when she grows up. And I think that's an obtainable goal. So, let's just see how that works out. And we'll keep training. And, obviously I'm not going to push my kid beyond her limits. And not every child is going to grow up to be a competitive or high-level skater. So, I'm just kind of along for the ride at this point. I guess I'm the one driving, but I have no direction kind of thing. But I think that's probably it. I have some fun things to tell you about next week. In the meantime, I had some post reviews go up. Do you guys want to see my Black Friday, Cyber Monday purchase? Let me know. It's only one. I know I've had some people express to me they're not really super interested in a lot of the newer releases as unboxings because they're so readily available. It's more of the post reviews that people would prefer to see. But you let me know because, obviously, if that is a form of content you guys do want to see, I will gladly do it. I have no rush to do it. You know, it's not like I'm starting this kit right now. Let me put the unboxing up. But it's just one, like I said, and it's Diamond Art Club, and it's nothing huge, but I think this is a good place to stop. I've gotten a lot of the hair done here. Here's her shirt. There's the dog's face over here. This side has the window, and then I'll be going up and I will start getting into the latkes and the menorah and the dreidels and all of that fun stuff. If you guys haven't checked out the unboxing for this one, I definitely recommend, whether you celebrate Hanukkah or not. I had a very emotional reaction to it, spoiler alert. But if you made it all the way to the egg, and we were talking about eggs earlier, leave me some egg emojis so I know you made it to the end. If you guys enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more content like this, or nothing like this at all, please make sure to give this video 2 thumbs up. One real life, one virtual. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Come join the Sparkle Squad. And while you're there, hit that notification bell. I do not operate on any sort of schedule. I operate on toddler standard time, and I record when my tiny human is sleeping or sleeping. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys.